Welcome everyone to this workshop about abstract realism, and today I'm going to be painting a portrait in abstract realism. My name is Dimitra Milan, and I'm really excited. I know you guys are going to love this technique. So I'm just using acrylics today and some mixed media brushes. So you can just use whatever materials you have, and this technique applies to oils as well if you'd rather use oils. Here's the agenda for today. I'm going to do a short intro just to share about who I am, because there's probably a lot of new people here watching today. And then we'll go into painting abstract realism, and then I'll give you guys step by step what I'm doing. I'll start painting, and then I'm going to share about our mastery program. So this is my husband Jake, and we just had a baby 4 months ago, Zion, and sometimes we collaborate together. So Jake is also a really great artist, and this is my family. So I came from a family of artists. Both my parents were artists, and they just, their whole career was painting, and I grew up in a very artistic, creative family. So from a very young age, it was encouraged to be creative and follow our passions, and I'm really grateful for that, because when I was about 12 or 13, I started to really fall in love with painting. And at first, I wanted nothing to do with art. I wanted to be something completely different from my parents' career, but I couldn't escape that feeling of, just being pulled towards art, and I really fell in love with it. So this is some of my early paintings when I was kind of trying to discover my voice and style. And a lot of people told me my art looked just like my parents, and I really hated hearing that. As like a young teenager, I wanted to just stand out, be my own person, wanted to have my own style. And I did a lot of abstract work, and I kind of avoided oil painting, avoided faces. I really didn't want to do portraits because they scared me, and I felt like I wasn't good at them. So then after taking 3 portfolio boot camps that my mom was teaching, this was about a year and a half, I spent doing this class, and I took the class 3 times. So after 3 of these classes, I really found my style, and I found my process. I found the way I love to paint, and these boot camps were so intense. So it was just designed to, by painting so much every day or every week, you would eventually find your style. So just through painting full time, I was able to find my style and find the way that I love to paint. So I combined women with animals, and everything changed for me. I felt like that painting with the crow was kind of the first painting that really spoke to me, and I felt like I truly found myself in my art. And I loved the storytelling aspect. I didn't really know what I was sharing about. I didn't know what my paintings meant at the time, but I just loved that idea of just mixing different subject matter together. And so I also started combining my abstract style with realism, and I learned how to oil paint through the portfolio class, which is now part of our mastery program. This was my first painting that got into this gallery, and we did a family gallery show with my parents when I was 15. And so this piece and a couple other pieces sold at that show, and it was just so incredible for me. I felt so connected to what I was doing, and like it was real, and like I could actually be an artist, and it could be my career. So it gave me so much confidence and just excitement for my future. And this painting was in the newspaper here. A publisher in Hawaii saw the newspaper, saw my art, fell in love with the story of me being 15, and they felt like I would be a perfect addition to their publishing company. So they reached out to me, and it was just an amazing opportunity, and I said yes. I learned so much through that time. I worked with the publishers for a couple years, and they really gave me confidence in myself and helped me develop my style, because I was painting so consistently all the time. I had to be giving 6 to 8 originals every month to the publishers, so I was painting all the time, and this helped me really solidify my style and voice. So this painting was really when everything took off for me. This painting kind of went viral when I was 16. Here's some other paintings. And so I had a really cohesive body of work and, like I said, a solid process, mixing abstract with realism. I really fell in love with that style, and a lot of people connected with it as well. And so in my first year working with these publishers, I sold over $1 million in art, and they helped me put my work in galleries all over the US. At the height of working with them, I was in 12 galleries. So after working with them for 2 years, I was starting to feel really burnt out because I was just painting so much all the time, and it was, I don't know, I felt like they were kind of turning me into someone that I wasn't, with the style of art that they wanted. They wanted a lot of Hawaiian themes because a lot of my galleries were based in Hawaii. And so they're kind of branding me into this Hawaii artist. And of course, I loved Hawaii, loved traveling there, but I didn't feel like that was really me. And so also, while this is all happening, that running the distance painting I showed you earlier, The Girl and the Wolf, really took off, and I got a ton of followers and interviews, online magazines, and I was gaining a lot of followers on Instagram and Facebook. Tons of people were reaching out to me wanting to buy my work, and the publishers weren't really helping facilitate that because they only wanted to work with galleries. They didn't want to sell directly to collectors. And so I was kind of seeing that the future was, I think, for artists to work with collectors and have that connection. And it's so, so important in selling art. And it's not only just about galleries. So I had like this decision to make. And eventually, after 2 years, I decided to self-represent and go out on my own. And it's been the best thing I ever did for my business. So now I am the owner of my business, and I get to sell through my own website directly to my collectors. I have relationships and connections with these collectors, and I build them, and it's just really amazing. So this is the future for artists, and I'm not just putting down galleries. Galleries are great, and I still have work in galleries, so I do both. But now I'm, really in control of what I'm doing. Now I also help other artists have a career in art through the mastery program. So both my mom and I teach the mastery program. She is an amazing artist as well, with over 28 years of experience in the art world. Like I said earlier, it's her whole life. Like, that's her career. She knows what she's doing. So together we've created the mastery program. Well, she's the founder of it, but we teach it together. Okay, so this technique, we're about to get into painting, but this technique today is going to help you guys loosen up, feel free while painting. So if you're watching and you are used to painting in realism, or just, with small brushes, and you really love painting those details, this technique is going to help you loosen up and try something totally different. And also, you're going to have really beautiful depth within your artwork. You'll enjoy the painting process. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you'll learn how to use this technique for your own unique style. So the cool thing about what I'm teaching you is you can do it step by step, but it's going to, you're going to do your spin on it. And depending on the subject matter you use or the way you put down paint, it's going to come out totally different for everyone. So that's what's so cool about these techniques, and really all the techniques we teach in the mastery program. So here's the 4 steps for today. I'm going to leave this screen up if anyone wants to write that down. But first, we're going to be creating a loose abstract background. And then I'm going to teach you guys how I layer photos and create a source for a painting, and a really cool drawing tip that a lot of people use to just draw their painting really quickly. And then that kind of goes into step 3. Step 4, we're going to refine the portrait and really pull it out from the background. So you're going to have a really loose painting. It's going to be really messy, and then you'll see it get refined. And I'm working on a pearlescent canvas. Not sure if you can really see that in the camera, but it's really shiny, and it's a lot of fun to work with. So I'm going to try to leave some of this showing with transparent so the sparkle really shows through. And I'm using our Fearless brushes. These are the best mixed media brushes. And you want to work from big to small. So I'm going to start with this big brush first. So these are just acrylics, and I'm just putting out a variety of colors that I like to use. I also have some white spray paint and some high flow acrylics inks and alcohol inks. So this is just some fun mixed media materials to just make a cool background. That was Mars Yellow. That was quinacridone Crimson, cadmium red medium, and raw sienna. This is quinacridone Violet, some black, yellow ochre. And this is a fun color by Holbein. They make luminous, I think it's just called like their luminous series. So this is like a neon bright orange, and then I also have their rose color. Okay, so this part is just, you gotta cut loose and just go for it. And it sometimes helps to have like an abstract painting for a reference, just to get an idea of where you want your abstract to go. Sometimes it's hard to just have a white canvas and not know where to start, but today I'm not going to use any sources. I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to start with drips. So I like to do thin to thick. So I'm just getting something down to cover the white. So it's good to have like a thin layer to work off of and not go straight for like the thickest paint, because it'll be hard to go over that. So you can always build up the layers if you start thin. So now, while this is wet, I'm going to try this spray paint. So I really don't have that much of a plan in mind. I'm just kind of playing with these materials, and by holding this really lightly, I can get these cool specks. So now I am wanting to get some like mark making in here, because I have a trick that I'm going to show you guys, which is step 2. And basically you can take any abstract that has a kind of a lot of marks and things happening. It works better with a lighter background abstract. And you can take a picture of it with your phone and then find whatever reference photo you want, and you can layer that on top of your abstract and kind of blend them together so you can still see the abstract through that photo, and then you use that as your source to draw. So it really helps you kind of like use all these marks as little points in your drawing to get your proportions in quickly and accurately. So it's a really great tip, especially if you're working big. This is like what muralists use to get their murals accurate and in proportion. So this is a really fun technique, and just want to share it because it's really fast to like if you want to draw quickly and accurately. So I don't use rollers that often, but I just thought I'd try it today. And normally I would let this dry. It's kind of blending everything. But I mean, it does make cool marks into the wet paint. So I'm just going in making some marks because this is going to help with the next step. This is a really fun tool, an art crayon by Marabou, I think. Marabou. So this is water soluble, so it kind of blends in with the wet paint that I have here. This is always the hard part, is like knowing what to go over because you like everything. Oh, I love that effect. That is cool. But with acrylic, the good thing is it's so forgiving. If you don't like a spot, just wait for it to dry and you can cover over it later. So right now I'm taking this opaque, creamy white color, just going over some spots that I didn't really like. And kind of trying to make it less busy. This could be done for this step. I'm going to add this as the last thing to this abstract. This is liquid gold metallic paint by Montana, and this is really fun to use. Very messy, so just be careful. And whatever brush you use with it, it's going to get ruined. Just saying. Or I ruin all my brushes that I use with it. So this is really just high pigmented gold paint. It's so much fun to work with, and depending on the light, it's really shiny. It's literally liquid gold. So this is done for this step. This is step 1. So make a really fun abstract. Don't really have a plan with it. Just with this technique though, I'm leaving this really light and bright, not too dark, because I'm gonna layer that photo over this background, and for it to show up, it needs kind of a lighter background. So keep that in mind if you're gonna do this technique. Kind of like make on purpose a lighter background, or at least leave parts of it light where you want to put your portrait or your subject matter, and you can have other parts darker. You can always make it darker later. So now I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay, now that this is dry, so now we are going to do step 2, which is going to go pretty fast. So step 2 is take a picture of your abstract and make sure it's a good photo. And now I'm getting a good photo of my abstract, and I'm just on my phone making the exposure go up a little bit so I can see, so it's a little brighter. Wow, it really captured that gold. That's cool. All right, I'm just getting these images on my iPad real quick. Okay, so this is Pixelmator, and I'm not going to do like a whole Pixelmator lesson, but you can use another photo layering app, whichever one you're more comfortable with. I think Pixelmator is pretty easy. And you just go up here to the plus sign, and I'm adding this portrait. So here's my abstract. Now I'm kind of planning how big I want this to be. And to put your portrait right in the middle, it's not very good compositionally unless you have it going off the edges, then it's okay to do that, and which I might do that. But if you have it to the side, that's actually better. I'm gonna do it like that. So that's good compositionally. She's touching, 2 sides of the canvas. 3 sides would be better. Actually, if I bring her arm down, then it's touching, yeah. This is good compositionally. And now I'm going to go to Style, Blending, and there's all these different modes to blend. So the multiply kind of just adds the darks onto the background, and then the abstract showing through in all the highlights. So that actually looks really cool. I might just keep it like that. Okay. So remember that blending mode. It's called multiply. And then you can take the image that you just placed and bring down the opacity just a little bit so you can see the background a little bit better. I'm gonna make her a little bigger. Okay, so now you can get an idea of how your portrait's gonna look on your canvas, and you can do this with whatever subject matter you like, but I'm doing a portrait today. Whatever abstract marks are kind of like, I'm not sure I like that drip over her eye, but I can fix that later. I can paint that out. So this just helps us visually see where, like, using those abstract marks in the painting is gonna help us draw in the face. So that's good. I'm gonna save that to photos. And now that's my source. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take some different pencils. Maybe I'll use, this is water-soluble graphite. This is really fun to use. And I'm just gonna start sketching it. So I'm looking at where everything lines up. Her neck is right here, going over these drips. So I'm looking at my source here and seeing, you see this line right here? That's where her neck is. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. So the more scribbly marks you have in your abstract, the easier it'll be on this step. Keep that in mind. You also just keep in mind whenever you're doing a portrait in particular, change the hair, change, don't paint it exactly photorealistic to as, what you see. Just by adding these abstract marks, it's really becoming its own thing. And by, like, if you're doing a portrait and the hand is a certain way, if you got rid of that hand, no one's gonna know what photo you used, if that makes sense. Like, try to make it your own as much as possible. So as you can see, this drawing going pretty quickly, at least I think it's going pretty quickly. I have her lips, her jaw, neck, working on the eye. But this whole process of using the abstract to get your drawing in with proportion is just so easy, and I'm just so happy to have discovered this process, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. So I hope you guys like it, and it helps you draw better and faster. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see, I have her nose, lips, eye. Now I'm gonna do the next eye. This is really dark, like black graphite, and I'm gonna use it as, like, when I get it wet, you'll see it'll kind of be like paint, and I'm gonna use it for the shadows, like in her eye, and this, like her nose, lips. It's gonna just help once I get it wet, and if it does mix into the paint a little bit, that's okay. All right, now I'm gonna take just a medium small brush and start just activating some of that drawing. Okay, so now you can kind of see the portrait in there. Now I can start painting and really, finishing this. It might not be completely finished today, but I'll finish it enough. So as you're working on your portrait, keep in mind where you kind of want your focus and focal point to be, especially if your portrait takes up most of your canvas. So I'm going to really focus on probably the lips and nose as my focal point. And then as it kind of goes towards the edges, I'm going to have it fade into the abstract background. And that's how you can really kind of marry the two together, where you're not just having a portrait applied on a background. And keeping these abstract marks within the portrait is really key as well, so that you really have that, like, the portrait emerging out of the background, and it has that really beautiful abstract look to it. So the edges I'm going to keep kind of loose, and it helps because that's where her hair is, so her hair is just kind of going to go into the background. So it's up to you how far you want to go with this. I'm just going to add a few more details in the eyes and lips, and then some highlights, but I'm going to leave all this as her skin tone. So you could, of course, keep adding more acrylic or oils on top of this and add more skin tones, but I really love how abstract it is, and I'm going to really try to keep that as abstract as possible. And as you're finishing your painting, try not to blend things and leave your brush strokes, because that's really how you can capture your style in a piece, by leaving brush strokes. Yeah, I don't like this spot, so I'm gonna do something. Maybe a roller would fix that.
And if you are watching this right now and thinking, oh my gosh, how do I how do I implement this into my art? Maybe you're watching Dimitra paint and you feel so inspired, but maybe at the same time you feel a little bit overwhelmed and like, oh man, she can do this. She makes it look so easy, but how could I ever possibly learn how to do this? Well, the truth is that anyone can learn how to paint in this sort of style, but of course the goal is to paint in your own unique style, right? Not just Dimitra's style or Ellie's style or someone's style that you find on Instagram, but to discover your own unique voice that is authentically yours. And the only way to truly do that is to develop the skills necessary so that you can not be afraid of any subject matter, so that you don't have to make your decisions out of weakness, but rather out of strength. So you think, oh man, I would love to try painting this, and you have the skills to be able to accomplish that. So the best way to gain the skills that you need is to learn how to oil paint, to learn how to draw, to learn how to use different mixed media techniques, like acrylics, like Dimitra is demonstrating right now, acrylic inks, alcohol inks, collage, gold leaf, spray paint. There's so many different markers, mark making. There's so many different techniques and styles. It can feel kind of overwhelming to know where to get started or how to get started where's the best, place to learn for all these different techniques? And well, you probably guessed it. We offer a comprehensive online program for artists at any level to watch and learn from. And there are over, I think, 80 or 90 different projects. I can't remember the specific number. It's a lot. It's a whole 1-year program. It's called the Mastery Program. It teaches you everything from A to Z in art. So many people who are watching this right now, have commented that they were in the Mastery Program or are in the Mastery Program and have loved the Mastery Program. And, Mastery Program students right now, if you are watching this and you agree with those statements, you agree that you love it, let us know in the comments, and let your fellow artists know how you feel. So and yeah, we basically share everything that we know, and Dimitra has obviously a high level of skill in painting. She's been a professional artist for 8 years. She teaches a lot within the painting and the voice section and social media marketing, and just a lot of different incredible techniques that you can't really find anywhere else, or at least the style you can't really find anywhere else. And likewise, her mom, Ellie Milan, teaches about 2/3 of the program. She is the one who came up with the entire curriculum, and it's a really brilliant curriculum. So if you've ever heard of the 80-20 principle, it's called Pareto's principle. And basically what it states is that 20% of what you learn, or 20% of any sort of input accounts for 80% of the output, right? So he was looking at, the pea plants in his garden, and he found that 20% of the peas produced 80%, or 20% of the plants produced 80% of the peas. And back then it was 20% of the population had 80% of the wealth. And, you can just take this sort of framework and apply it to so many different areas. And the same is true with learning how to paint. And what is so beautiful about the Mastery Program, and it being a 1-year program as opposed to a 4-year program, is it really follows the 80-20 rule. But instead it's more like 20% of the time spent learning, and 99 or 120% of the results. So I say 120% because not only do you learn how to paint and draw with oil painting and graphite and charcoal and all these different mixed media markers and pencils and spray paint and acrylics and inks and all these different things, all these different mediums that will really help you express yourself, but teaches you all those skills. And then it takes you through this whole entire process of finding your voice as an artist. So it's a really incredible journey of self-discovery. And I highly recommend, if you are a little bit curious about that and you're on the edge and you don't know if, you'd like to take the Mastery Program, not come to our next workshop. It's on discovering your purpose as an artist. And that will really play into your, into finding your voice. So highly recommend that. But after you learn how to after you find your voice as an artist, then you discover your own process and your own style. And Ellie and Dimitra masterfully take you through this journey of combining your aesthetic. And Ellie actually just did a whole workshop on finding your voice. But anyways, there's 10 weeks, I believe, in the Mastery Program dedicated to this topic alone. It's, obviously all of us are complex creatures, us human beings, with our own unique stories and experiences. And so, there's a lot that goes into finding your voice. And so the Mastery Program walks you through that very tactfully, because it can get emotional, right? But that's good. It uncovers a lot of different things within you, things that you might not have thought about in a long time. And it helps you address that and figure out those different pain points in your life and turn that into a positive solution for the world, a positive, which is your paintings. It helps you figure out how to paint the other side of your pain and bring light and joy to other people. So that is, I would say, one of the most powerful parts of the Mastery Program. But it doesn't stop there. So after you learn how to find your voice and you learn your own process, you learn all these different skills that you need to be able to paint whatever you want, then we teach you how to brand yourself as an artist, how to communicate through social media, through email, through building a website, how to market yourself, how to sell your artwork, how to get into galleries if that's what you want, how to work with licensing agents and license your art, how to develop multiple streams of income. So we're really passionate about helping artists from start to finish and creating and pursuing their passion. So, we want to equip all artists all over the world to be able to do what they love every single day and spread light and beauty throughout this planet. So that's our goal. So if that sounds appealing to you, to develop your skills, to find your voice as an artist, develop your own process, and learn how to create a sellable portfolio of artwork, work with, galleries and social media, and build a following based off of your own true values that you've uncovered, and you want to pursue your dream of becoming an artist, then you should click the link. Just sign up for our waitlist. There's no commitment right now, but basically we'll just be sending you some emails with super valuable information, like how to build an easel, how to set up your studio like a professional, and we also have some videos too as well. And then, what art supplies you'll need, the right mindset to have, how to manage your time. Even if you're working a full-time job and you want to be a professional artist, how to manage your time effectively so that you can do both. And all of these things within the waitlist, and more. And then, of course, you'll be the first to know when the Mastery Program registration opens.
So it is hard to know when to stop because I could go on and on this. But if you stand back from your piece and you know that it's a portrait and you have some details in there, and then you also have a lot of abstract, then you could be at a good stopping point. Definitely don't want to overwork your painting. I think the more abstract that shows, the better. But of course, you want to incorporate this with your own style. So if you really enjoy realism and you want a more realistic look, normally I paint more realistic. So this is definitely more abstract for me, but I had a lot of fun with it. It's good to push yourself and try new techniques because you never know what will really speak to you. All these different techniques are just so useful to help find your own unique style. And the Mastery Program, our whole entire purpose of that, we share everything we know. Everything I've just taught you and so much more is poured into the Mastery Program. Every technique that we know as artists, we share in this one-year program. So it's really just all-encompassing of every workshop we do, plus so much more. It's all distilled into the Mastery Program. And so if you loved this process, definitely check out the Mastery Program, join the wait list, and it's really just a life-changing experience. The entire program will change your life. That's what everyone says at the end of it, even in the middle of it. So it's just so exciting. And if you want to be a full-time artist and do this every day, the Mastery Program is the best way to get there. It's the quickest, it's so powerful. There's so many different things that you're going to learn. And I just really wanted to show you guys a before and after that I found. A student posted the other day right here. Lily, this is so crazy. So after the program, this is before and after. So you can see her polar bear that she did and then what she's painting now. Just incredible difference. And then she put 3. So here's another one. I loved how she had the same animals that she painted, redone in her voice. And then this whale piece too. So super amazing. And then here is Esther. She's one of our mentors. So also with the program, you can have a mentor if you want. And there's a lot of different mentors to choose from. And each mentor has gone through the program. They are full-time artists themselves, so they can give you direct feedback. And it's just really helpful to have a mentor. It's optional. And then here's also Sabrina. She's another mentor and has also gone through the program. And everyone has such different styles, so you can go through all the mentors on the mastery program page and see their styles, see which one really like that you connect to and what their style resonates.
Oh, and I just wanted to clarify too that the mentorship, yeah, it's right there on the page, is an additional purchase. So it's not included with the mastery program. We tried to keep the mastery program the lowest price as possible so that it's really affordable for anyone, no matter where you live in the world. We have students all over the world, from the US to Australia to India to Ukraine to Europe to all over the world. And so we want to make this program as affordable as possible. You have group mentoring, so you'll be included in this group with a bunch of other mentors and students in it who are dedicated to answering your questions. The mentor's dedicated. And then, of course, we have like 8 to 10 different live classes every single month just for the students in that group. And then if you want personal mentorship, a one-on-one Zoom call once a month with a mentor, and you can text them 24/6, so 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. Of course, they're going to reply to you within 24 hours, but you can message them directly and get feedback from them directly.
My mom and I are also available as mentors. You could request one of us to be your mentor as well. And it includes everything else that Jake said.
How does the mastery program change someone's life? It's a huge statement. How does it change someone's life? So
it's not just a program for painting. You will learn so much about painting. You will see your skills go from 0 to 1,000. There's people who come in with no skill and they're completely transformed by the end of it, and they're painting incredible paintings and selling their painting all along the way. So it's transformative in that way, but also on a very personal level, where you go in the middle of the program. It's designed to help you find your voice. So you go through really whatever your deepest pain is in your life, you can flip that and turn that into your strength and really your purpose as an artist. And that's the voice that you use through your paintings. So it's a very deep process to go through. It's so much self-discovery. You learn so many things about yourself that you never knew was there. And that's why I think it's such a life-changing program, because it's not only about painting, but it's also, you learn so much about yourself and what you can offer others. So that's why it changes your life.
Yes, you do have lifetime access to the program. So as soon as you complete all of your payments, you own the content for life. We are not, we know that we don't have perfect memory as human beings, and it's so easy to forget things over time. And so we have given all the artists lifetime access because, you might be down the road 3 years or so and think, oh man, I wish I remembered that fat over lean lesson that Dimitra did with that bunny. Oh, that was so good. Am I right about that? That was okay, cool. Yeah. And you want to go back and revisit it and, freshen up your skills. And that's one of the things that a lot of students say that they love the most, is being able to have access to the content forever. So we don't want you to have to pay twice to access the same content. No, we're making it available to you forever. So, and especially because it's so comprehensive. So
yeah,
anything that's added to the mastery program in the future will be included. So that is very exciting. And
actually we have some really cool ideas coming up of what we're going to film to add. We're talking about the other day, some mixed media techniques that we haven't put in the program. We're going to add those soon. Thank you guys so much for joining. I had a lot of fun painting this, and I would love to see if any of you painted along with me. Tag me in it. I'd love to see your paintings and share that. So I will see you guys at our next workshop.